Discipline is losing the battle in a world where all the media is screaming, preaching loudly. Be undisciplined. It's cool and great to have that coffee or toffee. You are indestructible and no harm can come to you. Most people have a fear of discipline from the trauma they carry from the silly school discipline, which is designed to artificially fit one into society, no matter how they all try and run away from any kind of discipline. They find they run straight into it. The school is followed by 9-to-5 jobs. The same society, which blatantly propagates undiscipline, puts people in cages for 8 to 12 hours a day to toil for an undisclosed goal. Even basic disciplines like eating home, self-cooked, proper food are disappearing fast. Along with them will disappear respect for the higher. The more undisciplined one is, the more unable one is to respond properly to the higher. Such beings end up becoming vampiric apathetics. For them, the energy of the higher is too much to handle. So they end up criticizing, swearing, pointing fingers, and shunning it instead. No discipleship without discipline. There is a reason why those two words are the same. Diverse branching, cutting of P, the axis, line. In simpler terms, one has to have discipline at every turn to navigate properly through the phenomenon called life. So that's just so profound. Oh my God. So Divine himself has perfect discipline. He grew up in the Air Force where non-military people were seen as, kind of barbarians that they could do whatever, but the people on the Air Force base had a certain code of conduct. And yeah, he always takes things in stride, even things that muggles can get quite bratty about. He has the most positive attitude, the most least bratty attitude that I've ever encountered. Being around P, you just end up feeling so embarrassed, you look at him, then you look at yourself, and the difference is so striking. It's hard to not just feel completely embarrassed all the time. So once I made a joke about how they got the genders wrong in Beauty and the Beast, and he made a great point that discipline is the only way for a beast to conduct itself. It's the only way for a beast to distinguish itself. And that's such a great point. Even if you're not the most popular beast in a stable, it's important to bear in mind that that doesn't mean you're like the least favorite all in all. Like rishis used to um, make their star disciple do the most mundane, boring tasks. And like any like I think the one person in America that I ever encountered who had decent enough manners that I could deal with them on a daily basis was ex-military. Like I've seen what a difference um, disciplined behavior makes in terms of attractiveness. So it's very inspiring to try and do a better job. And also, like, as long as one is inside Brahma's creation anywhere, like, you know, you're always going to be at the mercy of beings who have more discipline. Like, even in this world, like, you know, it's become well known that, like, LSD, modern art, Jerry Garcia were all CIA operations. You know, it's less well known that, like, the Beatles were MI5, and, you know, the MI5 stuff, even though they probably did more, is less well known. But, you know, even in this world, it's plain to see that, you know, the people who are calling the shots are always setting the agenda, all of that, are always the ones with more discipline. And that's also like how you're judged as a being. Because, you know, I asked P1s or P2s, you know, like maybe I'm just a lower being than everyone else because I seem to attract adversity no matter what I do, and most other people don't. And he explained that, you know, even he has had to face adversity and poor circumstances. Like anyone here will at one point or another, some more, some less, but you're actually judged by how you respond to those adverse circumstances. And obviously, the more discipline and less complaining that you do, the better off it will be. It's just very great to have the chance to change my luck for the better. Discipline is the only tool to get out of the cycle of birth and death, and better yet, get out of Brahma's creation. It's also very impressive, like, P's lineage is actually, like, descended from rishis, like, descended from, like, the top beings who, like, have the final say in everything. You know, not that they can be bothered to come to this place in the first place, but just in the whole, in higher realms and all of that. Like, instead of being, like, a creation that someone, like, way lower than a rishi made for an experiment, which is, like, what nearly everyone else is. I mean, he's so impressive in every way, and it's so great to have a way to get closer to him in the long run.